Hi, my name is Dale Blasingame. I'm the first person to ever do every state park in 1 year, and this is my dog Lucy, who is, as far as we know, the only dog who's ever been to every state park. So I was never really much of an outdoors person. I had to go to Big Bend for a wedding, and Big Bend really opened my eyes to the outdoors. My girlfriend at the time actually recommended that I go to Hamilton Pool just to get away and go somewhere, but the line was super long that day to get in, and the woman directing traffic away from Hamilton Pool said, well, Pedernales Falls State Park is right down the road. And so I drove over to Pedernales Falls, and the park ranger told me about the state parks pass, and I asked him how many parks were in the system, and at the time it was 95, and I told him I'm gonna do them all in 1 year, and he looked at me like I was crazy and said, okay. And that literally was all it took. I was about halfway through my journey when I was at Bisher State Park, which is one of my favorites. I hiked alongside a man and his dog. That man and I didn't say a word to each other for several miles, and then as we were parting ways, he said goodbye, and I asked him if he liked hiking with a dog, and he turned around and he was like, you'll never regret it. And so that day I'm driving home, and it was all I was thinking about was, man, I really wish I could get a dog to hike with. And the PetSmart across the street from where I lived at the time was having an adoption day. So I stopped in. That was when I met Lucy, and her name was Fancy at the time. They had me take a walk with her, and she wanted nothing to do with me. She was just like itching to get back to her foster mom. And so I told them, I was like, oh, I love her, but she doesn't seem to like me all that much. And her foster mom was like, I've only had her a couple of days. That's how quickly she gets attached. And this part sounds ridiculous. It sounds made up. I promise this is what happened. The foster mom got down on her knees and looked at Lucy and said, Fancy, this could be your new dad. You need to be nice to him. And she said, why don't you try taking her for a walk again? And I did, and it was like she was a totally different dog. She just looked up at me the whole time, stayed right by my side, didn't pull to get back to her foster mom at all. And it was like she just totally understood what the woman had told her, and got back, and I was like, I'm sold. This is gonna be my new dog. She was just a natural. I mean, it was like we had been hiking together our whole lives. One of the most fruitful things to come out of my relationship with Texas Parks and Wildlife was the Study in America program that I now lead at Texas State. I'm a professor there. The best parts of my job is I get to marry these two loves of mine, which are helping young kids, use technology to become better storytellers, but also be able to do it in the outdoors. And a lot of times Lucy gets to join us too, depending on where we're going. So she's been to several of the classes and camped with us as well. So a couple things that I would love for people to know. One, getting great exercise time with your dog outdoors is one of the best things you can do. Please be respectful of the parks. Follow those leave no trace principles. Lucy and I always try to set a good model here when we're in the parks. Take a chance on the outdoors. I'm a perfect example of that. I wasn't particularly an outdoorsy type person, but the parks have totally changed my life. And this past 10 years, I'm just such a different person than I was before, and I truly do feel like I owe that to the outdoors.